Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. My name is Francisco and I'm an artist from Portugal, and today I'll be showing you a process of painting one more of these strange old houses that I like to paint. For tools I will be using a Micron PN for the base sketch in the brown color. I'll be also using Sennelier watercolors with a water brush, and at the end I will be using a Pilot G-Tech and also a Micron VR. I like to start my sketch with a Micron PN, which is a waterproof pen, and I'm very loose at the beginning of the sketch. I just let my hand flow through the paper, trying to find what lines make sense and not make sense. I'm not worried about having incorrect lines. These will add texture and will add this sense of detail at the end. And because I'm sketching what I imagine will be an old rusty house, these lines will just help me emphasize that idea. Because the pen I'm using, the Micron PN, is waterproof, I don't need to be concerned with any bleeding in the next stage, which will be the watercolor part. I can just sketch as I want and mark the paper as I want, because these lines will stay intact. When I make these sketches, I like to think about contrasts in the terms of sizes and playing with the different elements of the house in a way that they can look very similar but also very distant from each other's, and can give this idea of something that was not planned at all, just happens to be as it is. For example, if I make a big window in one side, I like to make a very small window on the other side. Same happens for doors, chimneys, and all elements. I think those contrasts and those differences make the sketch much more unpredictable and much more interesting. After we are done with the sketch, we move to the watercolor part. We grab our water brush, which is a brush with water inside, and our watercolors. If you are new here, you will find out that I like to start always with the shadows first. And the main reason for this is to just define the volumes of the sketch. When I do the shadows first, I already define where the light source comes from, and I also have a better understanding of all the volumes and different shapes of the house. Just simplifies the composition for me. I also really like how the watercolor builds and layers on top of the blue. I really think it brings a very saturated feeling to it and very nice color to it. So that's also a reason why I always start with the blue. This of course doesn't mean that at the end I can work with blue on top if I forgot something, or if I think something can look better with a more intense shadow. Since I start with the blue, now I'm gonna move to warm tones with oranges and yellows. I really like this contrast of complementary colors because I really think they automatically bring this appealing feeling to the image. And as I said, contrast is a very important part of my sketches because I think it's something that makes it much more interesting. So yeah, now we are moving to the warm tones, and in this stage I like to apply the color much more loose than I did when I was working the shadows. The shadows were much more precise, but when I do the warm colors I like to be much more loose, experiment a lot with the brush, and apply the watercolor in different ways. These warm tones will be the color of the house, so I want these to show the age of the house, the rustiness, and all those imperfections. So when I use the brush in different ways, I can create different textures, and all these will just help me get that feeling of an old house much better. Now we are building more colors on top of each other. We are working in layers. If you feel like you use way too much pigment and watercolor or water, you can just use a paper towel to remove it. It's a very easy way to just take it out and to dry the paper a little bit. Now, to make the house look even more old and rusty, we're gonna sprinkle some watercolor. We're just gonna flick the tip of the brush, as you can see here, and we're just gonna create this noise effect on top of the house. Now we're gonna start to define our painting and just refine everything. First, I'm starting with the Micron BR, which is a brush tip pen, and for this pen and for this part of the stage I will just select the most dark areas and I will just fill those first with this pen. This is a very versatile pen because of the brush tip. I can cover large areas, but I also can just make very thin lines, so it's a very nice pen to work faster and efficiently. And now we are working the last lines. I'm using a Pilot G-Tech. It's a 0.4 pen. It's quite thin, but allows me to make nice textures and just to make the line work much more precise. For this part I will be focusing on the windows, on the doors, and all the elements that I want to draw attention from the viewer of the painting. I also like to add texture with this pen, and for that texture I mostly use vertical lines. These vertical lines really give this sense of our definition and are just very coherent, because I always use those same vertical lines for all these details and all these refined areas or parts where I want to have this texture. So yeah, I just try to stay coherent and cohesive doing these lines. When I render the painting with the vertical lines, I really like the effect it creates, because when we look closer we can see all that definition of the lines. They are so thin and perfect, but when we look from far away, almost looks like a texture, and it blends all together and creates some kind of noise that adds to all the feeling of the house. So I think it's a very good technique for this last stage of defining and refining all the sketch and the painting. And this is the final result. I hope you like the process. I hope you like to see the final result. And I see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.